Just give me the mic. Just give me the mic. Just give me the mic. Yes, sir. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. This episode on this live stream, I want to discuss something specific. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to discuss something specific when we talk about when we talk about your guy. That's what I want to discuss. Like, we all have our favorite players, right? We all have, what up, Jose? We all have our guy. We all have that player or players. And these are our guys. So with that being said, there was a point where these guys became your guy, right? There was a point when these guys became your guy and they stayed your guy. But then there were guys who were your guy, and then at some point you decided, I'm out. I'm good. There has to have been a point when that happened. So I'm asking today, when did your guy become your guy? Like, this is my guy. And when did you wash your hands with him? For example, when I think about the 1985 Slam Dunk Contest, right? When I think about the 1985 Slam Dunk Contest, when I saw Dominique Wilkins, I was in it. He was my guy. I was watching him previous to that, right? I was already watching him previous to that. And I was already a fan. But in 85, after watching the dunk contest, I was all in. That's my guy. 100%. I saw Barkley in college. I saw Jordan in college. But after the 86, 87 season, I was all in on Jordan. He was my guy. I was all in on him. Doc was on his way out. Jordan had showed up. What up, King? Peace, brother. Doc was on his way out. Jordan was in. And he was my guy. When I saw Malone in 88, I had already seen glimpses of Malone before the 88 season, because the Jazz were on TV a couple of times. I had seen glimpses of Malone, him and Adrian Dantley, and I was already a fan. But in 88, when they played the Lakers, Malone's my guy. I was in. I was all the way in on him. And same thing with Stockton. I mean, I can talk about, excuse me, I can talk about guys that I was all in on, and these guys were my guys for a long time. And then there are guys who, like, this was my guy, and I dug him, but then I'm out. After the 95 season, when the Pacers beat the Knicks, I was out on Ewing. I'm out. And I dug Patrick Ewing. I was a big Patrick Ewing fan. Ewing from college, when he got drafted to the Knicks, I was excited about seeing him in the NBA. But when I realized that he was never going to win an NBA championship with him as the guy, I'm out. I was out on Ewing. I was out. That doesn't mean that he wasn't still a great player. I was just out. For example, as much as I love Kawhi Leonard, I'm out. I'm out. I've seen everything that I'm going to see from him, and I don't think I'm getting any more. And I think that in terms of being a championship level player again, I'm out. I'm not out on him as a player, because he played at an elite level for a bunch of years. But in terms of him being that player again, I'm out. Now, in order for you to be out on a guy, right? In order for you to be out on a guy, you have to have been in on. You can't be out on somebody, right? You can't be out on somebody and not be in on him. Answer your question, Antoine. 91. Larry Johnson was the first pick in the draft in 91. You can't be out on a guy unless you were already in on him. You can't just go, I'm out on him. Well, wait a minute. How can you be out on a guy and you weren't even in on him? Right? You weren't even in on him. I can't do that. My man Moody got the super chat. He says, I was all in on LeBron since 2003. I was only 6, but he was amazing to watch on TV. All my friends know the day day one I was. I was too. I'll be lying to you if I said I wasn't. I was too. I was on the James train, right? I was on the James train since day one, right? I was on the James train since day one. There was never a day. Now there was some doubt that maybe, just maybe, I might be wrong about him, but I was on the James train from day one. But to say that you out on a player, right? To say that you're out on a guy, you have to have at some point been in on him. You can't be out on somebody and then never have been in on him. Never really paying attention. Like was I ever in on Paul George? Right? Was I ever in on Paul George? I don't think I was ever all the way in on Paul George. I liked him as a player, but he was never my guy. Andrew, you're so vain. Do you know what vain means, Andrew? You're so selfish. You're so self-absorbed. This has nothing to do with you, sir. If you weren't here, we would still be talking about this, and we would not be talking about you. So get out of your own way. Please do that, sir. Nobody's talking about or to you. Nobody here is. Anyway, as I was saying, folks, I can't say that I was out on Paul George because I don't think I was ever all the way in on him. Like, I dug him as a player, and I dug what he brought in terms of his game, but I was never all the way in on him because of guys like James, because of guys like KD, guys like that, right? I was never all the way in on him, but that doesn't mean that I didn't think that he was a fantastic player. No, I never felt like that. I always thought he was a damn good player. I just was never all in on him. When Zion Williamson came to the league, I was all in on Zion. Now we're getting to the point where I'm getting close to being out. That depends on what I get in the next year. Because if I can't get a 65, 70 game season of health from him, which would lead me to believe that maybe I can get more in the future, then I'm out. If I'm getting another, if I'm getting another 50, right? If I'm getting another 45 or 55 games, nope, I'm not trying to hear that. Nope. Moody comes in with the super chat. What about Ben Simmons or Vince Carter? Well, Vince Carter, not Vince Carter, I'm sorry. Ben Simmons is another one. Ben Simmons is a guy who I'm still in on. There are a lot of people who are out on Ben Simmons. There are a lot of people who have seen enough and they're out. I'm still in on Ben Simmons. I think the difference in this particular situation, Moody, is I'm at a point where I may have to just accept who he is. Now, there's a difference between being all the way out on a guy and accepting who a guy is and still being in on him and lowering my expectation of him. So Ben Simmons, who, watching him in the preseason a couple of nights ago, to be honest with you, he actually looked like Ben Simmons from 21, the all-league guard, the all-league defender. He actually looked like that guy, right? So with that being said, this may be who he is. And I may have to accept that that's him. And there's really nothing that I can do about that. And just accept him being that. Now, does that mean that I'm out on him as the best player in the league or the best guard in the league? Well, that depends. Did I ever think he could be that? No. I wasn't ever sure that he could ever be that. Even though him being the number one overall pick, it was a franchise player. Right? So does that mean that I'm out on him? I may be out on him as being a generational guard. I may be, but I'm not out on Ben Simmons in terms of him still being an All-NBA guard, an All-League defender. That may be. I may just have to accept that. Yo, this is just who this dude is. This is just who he is. I want to open up the discussion to you guys because I'm interested to know who is your guy, when were you in on him, and who is a guy that you were in on, but then you were out. I'm interested to open up the discussion to you guys because it's an interesting dynamic when you have guys that are great players that people follow them, right? People follow them, and in the process of people following them, right? People follow them, and in the process of people following them, they become more invested. Like you don't get a guy and immediately you all in on. No, you don't do that. There's guys that you have a guy that you're in on, and then you dig him, but I ain't all the way in on this dude yet. And then there's guys that, this is your guy, right? This is your guy, but at some point, I'm good. So I want to open up the discussion to you guys because I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. This was an interesting topic for me today. What up?
What's going on, Chill?
What up, brother?
Man, I'm gonna show you this right here. This guy right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Grant
There
Hill.
you go.
Grant Hill, sure.
Oh man, broke my heart.
Let me ask you this,
Broke my
man.
heart.
Before you go any further, when were you in? Like, when was it? Yo, that's my guy.
Oh, Duke.
So when you saw him at Duke, that's my guy right there.
Yes. When he made that pass to Leitner, I was like, who is that?
That's your man.
That was my man.
Now, wait a minute, Minor. You just got introduced to him. So, like, you don't really know him yet.
Nah.
Right? So, at what point were all your chips pushed to the front of the table? Because there's a difference between, yo, I dig this guy, but now I'm all in.
I would have to say probably his rookie year, because I was following that rookie year tough between him and Jason Kidd. Oh, man, I didn't miss a Pistons game at all. So that was...
So it sounded to me like he was a guy who was turning into what you thought he was going to turn into. Like I'm watching him in college, and I'm digging him in college, and you see him his first year in the league. He's turning into what I think he's going to be. I'm in. I want to be here for this.
Yeah.
Now, keep going. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Nah, I remember getting the Slam magazine with him on the cover.
Yeah.
I remember, man, just tell you my age. I remember recording the Sprite commercials.
I still got
him.
Yeah, man. I still got him.
My favorite episode of Living Single was the episode where Grant Hill was on there. Man, I was, I had the Grant Hills, I had the Felines. I was one of the first people in my neighborhood that had those. I had
a pair of
all
Felines.
in.
I don't man. Felines, and I did have a pair. I did have a pair.
Same
yes,
thing.
I did have a pair. So it sounded to me like once his rookie season came, he was turning into what you thought he was going to turn into, and now this thing is going to be what I really think it's going to be. So now I'm all the way invested.
Oh yeah.
Now, did you stay invested, or was there a point when you was like, all right, I'm out?
When he got to Orlando, and man, the ankle problems, the constant injuries, it was like watching a girlfriend do drugs and you telling her to stop, get some help, because I like every time he would go out there and try to play, you could tell you wasn't 100%,
Yeah.
but he was still trying to go out there and hoop.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, just take some time and get yourself healed. And he wouldn't. He loved the game that much, and I could see he ain't gonna be that guy.
It's like watching your girl. And by the way, this chick, she's not a good looking chick. Fine as hell.
Yeah,
But you watching the drugs just destroy her.
just destroy her.
You watch it and you can't do nothing about it. And you trying to. Like, please stop. Don't do this to me. I felt the same way about Derrick Rose, Minor. Watching Derrick Rose, to me, watching him break it was like watching a superhero lose his superpowers.
Yeah.
That's what it was with me. Like after he broke his hand in 2015, I was really affected by that because I'm thinking, yo, I was watching this dude turn into what I thought he was going to turn into, a super duper athlete, awesome.
Yeah.
And then watching him break down like that and basically lose his athleticism, lose his speed. It was like watching a superhero lose his superpowers. It was really affecting me. Like, damn, man, this sucks.
Plus all the hype over him returning and everything, and the commercials. They say he had like his vertical got better and all of that. I was like, oh, perfect.
Right.
And injuries, man. Injuries hurt
you every time. Hey, Minor, good to talk to you, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
100%, no doubt. Yo.
Yeah.
What up?
Yeah. I'm here. Listen, before I get into the segment, I just want anybody in the chat to know, hey, when it comes to my Nets, y'all ain't gonna never see it coming. I swear, I put that on everything. Ain't nobody gonna never see it coming, man. And that includes you too, Chill. That y'all ain't gonna never see it coming. It's gonna come like a damn uppercut out of nowhere, knock your ass clean out.
I'm standing here talking to somebody, and out of nowhere, I'm just gonna get hit with a right cross, right to the chin.
Yes, it's gonna be like It's gonna be like them knocking nigga out contests in Detroit, bro.
Like a dude just ran up on me. I ain't even see him run up on me. I ain't see the punch. He just swung on me.
Yep, yeah, like Butch Magnus from the Boondocks, better known as One Punch Butch, man. He gonna knock you out and then ask you for your stuff all after the fact. But guys, I got two guys that I was in on, because you know I'm out on a lot of people, man. Like that's just how I am. But and oh yeah, by the way, I can be out on a lot of people, bro, that I see, and I'm just like immediately out on them, bro, because I've been watching basketball like a long time to know, man, a lot of the stuff we seeing, I mean, a lot of it is really just a rerun to me, but that's just to me. But the two guys,
it's history repeating itself, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
you've seen this dude, you just seen him as somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, but it might have a little bit extra soy sauce and duck sauce on it, but yeah, a lot of it I've seen it before. But the game is always going to be embedded in me. The guy that put the basketball in my hands, I ain't gonna lie to you. The very first time I seen Iverson snatch Jordan out of his 11s, he had my whole neighborhood thinking we could do that.
Right. You digging Iverson?
Oh,
Iverson,
yeah, absolutely.
You digging him. Here's my question, Olive. You digging Iverson, but you ain't all in on him. You dig him. At what point did you realize I'm all in on Iverson?
Oh, damn. If I had to say, man, it was 90. It was 99. And they played the game, and he played the game against the Lakers, and he got at Kobe. And I'm talking about got at Kobe, bro. Kobe was one of those guys that got my respect, because I was never really in on Kobe. Right. I thought Kobe was kind of a Shaq merchant, man, like a lot of poor people thought, like, during that time. But AI, man, like, he was just built for tough. He just looked like he ain't really look like much, but he just looked like somebody that was not gonna lay down. And he looked like one of us, didn't he? Like he looked like he looked like one of us. He saw it from our lens. He acted like one of us. He walked it and talked it like one of us.
Like, you know, Iverson. Like, that's how you look at Iverson. Like, he live in my building.
I felt like, I know this dude. He gotta be from down the street, but he was from VA. Yeah. You know, another guy that gravitated towards me right away, and I saw him in North Carolina, a guy by the name of Vince Carter. I've seen him do stuff on the basketball court that I didn't even think was possible.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, every time, listen, is nobody, I will make it to my 100th birthday, man, and I sit all my grandkids, man, before before this lifetime is over, man, and I'll tell them about them too. Because
That's
those was the
fair.
greatest.
That's
Those was the
fair.
great. To me, those was the greatest shows on
That was fair.
in the
That's
NBA
fair.
basketball court that I've ever seen in this lifetime.
Now I wasn't
By
all
far.
in. I wasn't all in on Vince Carter more than I was in on Bryant. I was in on Bryant more than I was in on Vince Carter. However,
Okay.
Vince Carter, in terms of a show, he was must see TV. I will say that.
Absolutely.
He was must. The way I equate Vince Carter, Leaf, is I equate him like Walter Payton with the Bears. As you know, I believe 49 are red. But whenever the Bears was on TV, I was in front of the TV because I wanted to see sweetness. I wanted to see what he was going to do. He was going to do something, and that's kind of how I felt about Vince Carter. Like I wasn't all in on him like that, but I knew that whenever he was on, I had to see him. I just knew that.
Now, and when I was all out on these guys, realistically, when their careers was over, because being all out on a guy as a star is different from being all out on a guy as a contributor or a piece and wanting him to get his or wanting him to get his title. A key point was Tracy McGrady on the Spurs. When the year that Ray Allen basically took the championship out of his head. I wanted to see him win a championship. I wanted to see that, man. I did, man. I'm like, I thought Mac was due for one because they played him a game before, and then that shot happened, and then that was that, man. And
yeah, he was right there.
Mac was another guy, man. A lot of dudes. It was Jermaine O'Neal. I thought he was gonna be, but them knees. Oh man, it like once them knees went, that was about it. But Vincent, AI, those guys to me, I wasn't out on them until their careers was over, and I knew they wasn't going to get a championship.
That's fair.
You know, because I felt like a lot of them dudes in that era had put in enough work as the go-to guys that that at some point in their careers, when their careers was over, if they didn't get one as the top guys, I thought they could have sat on the bench or been like an older statesman on a team that was about to win it. And I thought that was well deserving. I thought that was well deserving for them, man. Like, and
it don't work out for everybody, but that's fair. Kind of like what happened with Mitch Richmond. You know, Mitch Richmond gets on that bench.
Kind of like what happened because if I'm not mistaken, Glenn Rice got a ring, and Mitch.
Well, he was a little bit different. Glenn Rice was a little bit different.
Quick question: Who was better, Mitch or Glenn? Oh, this is a tough one. All right, hold on. I got him thinking. It's got to be a tough one. And I got you. He took the hard side. He was like,
Glenn was a better shooter. I think he was a better one-on-one player.
Okay. Wait, you think Mitch was a better one-on-one player, or you think Glenn?
I think Mitch was a more consistent scorer. I think Glenn was a better scorer. I think Mitch was a more consistent scorer.
Okay, all right. So you saying Mitch had more years?
Yes.
Mitch had
an 8-year stretch where he averaged 26 a game. He was buckets.
I mean, but Glenn Rice in Miami was cool with him and
he was better in Charlotte.
Steve Smith.
No, he was better in Charlotte. Much better.
He was. Oh yeah, in Charlotte in '97. I thought he was like because he was looking at Jordan in '97. He was like, "Hey, Mike, you want to retire? All right, cool."
He was much better in Charlotte, and Glenn had a better. I think he had a little bit better of a skill set than Mitch Richmond. But Mitch Richmond, Mitch Richmond didn't really do a lot of stuff that he couldn't do. But what he could do, forget it. He would snatch smaller guards, take them down to the block, punish those dudes in the paint, get into the lane. He was a legit 6'5", a bit of it. Glenn had more of a smoother game.
I thought Glenn Rice's game was like sort of similar to Big Dog.
Well, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. You took the words out of my mouth.
Because yes. I mean, like Big Dog came in the league 20 points. It was like, he wasn't even sweating against Jordan, bro. I'm like, what?
That's who he was. He was more of a Big Dog was more of a more athletic version of Glenn Rice. But with that being said, if I had to choose between the two of them, who would I pick when they had it going? Glenn Rice.
Glenn Rice in Charlotte. Mitch in Sacramento. Man,
Mitch in Sacramento was hell. He was. And it's not far, right? Because when I think about being an all-league performer, I mean, Mitch Richmond is a 6-time All-NBA performer. I think Glenn Rice made the all-league team 3 times, something like that. So when you talk about being consistent, right? When you talk about being consistent,
right?
I mean, Mitch Richmond was more of a consistent scorer.
See, now my thing with the all-league teams, and this is not pertaining towards all players. The thing with the all-league teams is I gotta look at those years and see who was the competition at those positions, man.
Mitch played the 2. He played the 2 in the 90s.
No. I know. Not this is not pertaining to Mitch. This is not pertaining to Glenn Rice, because you had Jordan running around, you had Reggie Miller running around.
And Glenn played the 3, so he dealing with dudes like Scottie Pippen,
you had Scotty,
right?
Grant Hill.
Yeah, he dealing with dudes like that. But he was still playing at. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like Grant. It wasn't like Glenn. It wasn't like Glenn Rice wasn't playing at an All NBA level, because he was. It was just.
I'll give you a perfect example real quick before I go. Steve Nash in Dallas made the All NBA team how many times?
Twice.
Okay, so that was around 2000, like what
2003.
2003.
Yeah, and I think he made it in 99. I think he either made it in 99 or 2000. One of those 2 years.
Okay, so I want to say 2000 and then 2003. That's the year they made the Western Conference Finals, right?
2003, they made the West Finals. Yes, that's correct.
All right. Give me the top 5 point guards in between that stretch.
From
2000 to 2003. Give me the top 5 point guards during that time. I'm gonna give you Jason Kidd just to get it out of the way.
Jason Kidd.
One.
Let's see. Jason Kidd. Steve Nash. Stockton was over.
Okay, Stockton is out. Okay.
Stockton is over. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. Let's see. Iverson wasn't a point guard, so I'm not going to say Iverson. Lead guards. Let's see. Baron Davis showed up in 99, but he wasn't a top 5 guard in 2000, between 2000 and 2003. Let's see. Steve Francis didn't show up until 2000. Oh no, Steve Francis showed up in 99. I'm sorry. So I mean, you can make the argument Steve Francis in 2002. He was a top 5 point guard. Let's see. Who else during that time? Chauncey Billups wasn't there yet. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Steve Francis.
You said Baron Davis in between that time?
Baron Davis showed up in 99. Gary Payton was on the other side of that. So Gary Payton, I feel like in 2000, Gary Payton is still a top 5 point guard in 2000.
But chill time. But you see where I'm going with this though, right? If the position is sort of blanketed to a point where it's like, okay, yo, these guys were good and during this time, but these guys didn't. Certain guys didn't show up during this time. Therefore, Jason Kidd and Steve Nash were basically the head of the head, because hold on, I'll give you another. What about Marbury?
Marbury, I think that Marbury was in that conversation. I mean, he was an all-star in 2001, so I'm not sure if Marbury was a top 5 point guard in 2001. When I think about point guards, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, Steve Nash.
I would like to say Gary Payton's last good year as a top 5 point guard might have been in between that time.
2000, probably 2001. 2002 was it for Gary Payton.
Okay,
that was it. 2002 was it for Gary Payton. So Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Marbury, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Marbury, Gary Payton,
Baron Davis.
I don't know if Baron Davis was better than Steve.
Andre Miller was leading the league in assists during that time, man. Like, so
I think you can make an argument for
he was leading the league in assists for a year. And if I had to say, I would say the point guard position outside of Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, who were like arguably the biggest names at the point guard position, you could probably say that position was vacant. So for people that tell me that Dallas version of Steve Nash was I don't know exactly what the numbers are, because I'm known for docking players, man. Like
he was 15. He was like 15-8, 15-9, something like that.
Yeah. But you know, I'm one of the people that's known for taxing players. one of the reasons because I work at a tax office in real life. But I'm known
Hey
for
man, the numbers matter. When you're dealing with numbers matter. They do.
But a lot of other stuff matter too. And so when I
Right.
ask you questions like that, and you one of the historians as far as YouTube basketball goes, you would know these things, man, and you'll go back and say, yo, this player, that player, but you'll remember a time when a certain player was all NBA or all something, whatever, and you'll go back in that same year, yo, just to remind y'all, or such and such was injured, or such and such wasn't playing this year.
Right.
And this is one of the key things that I'm getting with certain all NBA selections. One of the problems that I had, and you tried to troll me like out of bounds stuff this year, with Alex Caruso making first team all defense, because our first thing I said, who is this competition? That's the first thing I said, and I had to go look.
He got a lot of competition. My issue isn't with him making the all-league defensive team, and to your point about his competition, because the idea of you being an all-pro, the fact that there's other guys ahead of you, that means that they outplay you. Now, when you got a guy like Alex Caruso who's only playing half the game, does that mean that the competition at the guard spot isn't that good? Well, I ain't buying that, because
that could also mean that competition wasn't as healthy too. You know, a lot of these, and this is what the 65 game incentive I think is gonna mean, because you said it yourself. You're gonna start seeing guys that just play 65 games over guys that we know that's not better than them because they didn't play 65 games. So it's gonna make these all pro teams look a lot more flawed than they've looked in the past. Can you agree with that?
Absolutely. You're going to see guys, you're going to have to continue to watch guys like Julius Randle make the all-pro team. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm better than him.
Just because he played 65 plus games, and somebody that was better than him probably didn't because of injuries or whatever the case may be.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see these dudes, their games go from 58 to 67 or 72. I'm not, because again, we're talking about being an all-pro, and that's an incentive in your contract. If I make the all-pro team, that's another $500,000.
That's another $500,000.
What the hell? I'm doing that. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But
absolutely,
one more thing before I go. As far as the Nets go, I'm very impressed, obviously, with Cam Thomas. But it's like I said before, and I said throughout the whole offseason, I said on the show too, which everybody giving me hell for, man, because they thought I panicked. I was just being silent and being respectful, man. I wasn't gonna go loud leaf. I was going calm leaf up there, man. And the thing was, I said it, and I'm staying on it. Our bench is going to win a lot of games for us this year. And when I look at our bench, I see Cam Thomas. I see Lonnie Walker, who's not afraid, man, who's a consummate professional NBA player. And you know something about being a consummate professional. And I see Dennis Smith Jr., who got a lot of praise on today's show about being a point of attack, one of the best point of attack defenders at the point guard position. And I think one of the better defenders now that he's coming off the bench in a role, and he gives us energy off the bench, along with the Royce O'Neals of the world. Two guys other that we need to look at that I'm paying attention to more now is Harry Giles, actually three, Harry Giles, Clowney, and Watford from he was on Portland. And those guys are going to be the backup, probably 4 and 5. Harry Giles obviously is going to take the spot of Day'Ron Sharpe, who got injured. In the case of Ben Simmons, I think this is more of role. I've been out on him as a star, but him as a role player and as a contributor, I'm not out on him.
I'm not out on Ben Simmons yet. I'm not out on. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not out on Ben yet.
I'm not out on him as a key contributor, because when you play in the role of two-way playmaker, facilitator, and obviously we know what he could do on defense, and now he's getting back in the lanes and unafraid and on the attack and going downhill, doing what he does best. I think that opens up, and when he gives up the ball, he's one of the few facilitators that gives up the ball and setting screens, getting another guy open.
That's fair. Yeah,
hitting a down screen and making some type of offense flow around. Mikal is he's going to get a lot of his points off of motion offense because he's the number one guy. And when you're the number one guy, you know what they're doing. Now you're on everybody's chalkboard.
So it's
Now
like
you
being
on everybody's
it's a
go-to
difference.
list.
It's the difference between being the number one receiver and the number two receiver. Those two guys are not the same. So
Absolutely,
we see these dudes perform
and
different.
it
So
makes it
hey, Leaf,
and it
I
makes
don't
it
want to
better.
cut you off. I don't want to cut you off, Leaf, but I gotta go. But it's good to talk to you, brother. You know, I'll see you soon, 100%. I'll see you soon,
Absolutely,
brother.
yeah. We gonna talk soon.
Yep.
All right, bro.
Yep. Yeah. What up?
What up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, brother?
I'm good. I just wanted to talk real quick about your topic.
Who was your guy? He opened up your eyes. You started to pay attention to this dude. Who was he?
I got three guys. I'm gonna start with Vince Carter.
Okay.
Like, for Vince Carter, I didn't see him when I was young because I was born in '97. So I seen
you
him.
ain't really see him like that. So you ain't see him. You didn't see Vinsanity. You ain't see that dude.
I didn't see Vinsanity. I saw the New Jersey Nets.
Ah, okay.
So
okay.
And he was still pretty good. He wasn't Vinsanity, right, but he was still pretty good.
Yeah, he was. Still was good.
Still was good. You know, him, Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, solid team.
Right.
But for some reason, as his career went on, I think it was 2010, right? I think it was the Magic, right? Remember the Orlando Magic?
08 and 09.
Yes. In 09, they were in the finals, right? And they lost to Kobe. And then
that's no, I'm sorry, in 10. They in the Eastern Conference in the year that the next year, it was in the 9-10 season. They ended up getting Vince Carter, which I thought was a mistake. I thought Orlando should have ran it back because they had a good enough team to run it back, and they ended up moving off of the kid from Western Kentucky and bringing in Vince Carter, and I thought that was a mistake. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so that summer after they lost in the finals, they got Vince Carter, and Vince Carter was still a 20-point per game scorer.
Yes, he was.
But that year, I remember that year, and I was young. I was probably like maybe 13, 12, but I remember.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Dominique Wilkins, Dominique Wilkins was my guy. I was 13 years old when I became a neat guy. When I was all in on him, all in. So keep going.
Yes, and for some reason, that year when he played with Orlando, he didn't look the same. He looked past his prime. He looked like he wasn't Vince Carter, even good Vince Carter. It just you noticed the decline, and then after that, career has, went where it has just a player.
So at that point, is at that point, are you out at that point, or are you still in?
I was out.
Out at that point. Okay.
I was out because super talented. One of the most talented guys you ever will see in basketball.
Right.
Dude, athletic.
Right.
But he was never. I think the thing that was most disappointing was he was never in that conversation with like the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron.
That's why I was never in on him for that reason right there. What you just said.
Yes.
Because I never looked at him like Bryant. I never thought he was Bryant good. As good as he was, I never thought he was good as Bryant. Never.
He had the talent.
Yes, he did. 100% he did. But I never thought he was as good as Bryant, James. I never thought he was that good. Never.
So, that was one player. I think another guy, I don't think people really talk about him a lot, was Tyreke Evans. Tyreke Evans, remember his first year as a rookie, 25.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Won Rookie of the Year. Played incredible. I thought he was next up. I thought he was going to be, him and Boogie were going to, resurrect Sacramento. But after that year, and his stats weren't really that bad. You noticed it, 18 points per game, but he wasn't that star.
Well, you got to remember, they didn't know what they were doing in Sacramento. I mean, Boogie had 5 coaches in 6 years. They had no idea what they were doing up there. None. And I think that contributed to Tyreke Evans and his roller coaster, as opposed to what he was doing when he first came in. So, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I think one guy, Rudy Gay. I think Rudy Gay was a guy that, I was all in on because he was just like Vince Carter, super talented, 6'8", could shoot, dunk. I mean, every time he played against the best, like LeBron, he would go at him.
Yeah.
And I remember it was the 2010-2011 season. He was hurt. Remember, he was hurt in the playoffs against the Memphis Grizzlies, were the 8th seed, and they went against the 1 seed Spurs. And remember,
they beat them. They beat them. Yep, I do remember that.
And so the next year, people had high hopes for the Grizzlies because they're saying, okay, Rudy Gay, a 20-point per game score, you know, he was the closer. So I thought he can get to that all-star, like, yo, I'm the guy on that team because Marcus is still pretty young. He still has Zebo, young Mike Conley.
Right.
But he never, you know,
became that dude that you expected him to be. Yeah, that's fair.
He never became that.
So is that 2010? At that point with Rudy, are you out?
I would say 2012.
You out?
Yeah, because that's when they lost that year. The next year they lost to the Clippers the first round.
They was in dog fights with the Clippers though. Yeah. Dog fights. Now I can't fight that. So, all right, Moody, good to talk to you though, brother. I appreciate you, no doubt. What up?
Chill, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What up?
I wanted to talk about your topic about you know, what guy I got to see, and then I was in on him, and then I was out. I'm an 05 kid, so I grew up watching Rondo. You know, I grew up watching him, and it was really sad to me how he just left. You know what I mean? And the whole drama behind him, the whole, like, you know, is he coachable? Was he uncoachable? You know, the fact that he ran out Ray Allen, like a lot of that stuff. I was really disappointed in Rondo. Right. I thought he was, like, watching him in the playoffs was phenomenal. He was a phenomenal player in the playoffs. Playoff Rondo was a real thing.
So, which I didn't, by the way, I want to make sure we clear. In 2020, when they won the NBA championship with the Lakers, I had to be reminded because I had forgot that playoff Rondo was an actual thing. And when I saw him with the Lakers in the playoffs, knocking down shots, making big plays, getting big steals, and it reminded me, wait a minute, playoff Rondo is a real thing. This is not something that's made up. I got reminded that it is a real thing. 100%.
I know, but him in the regular season was kind of to me at least, he was a disappointment.
Right.
Because I was like, I saw that 30 a game, the 12, 15 assists. I was like, why can't you be a 20 and 10 guy in the league? Why can't you be a 20 and 10 guy in the regular season? Why? And
you think about the crew he was on with Paul Pierce, with Kevin Garnett, with Ray Allen. I mean, they didn't need 20 a game out of him.
He was the distributor. After he left, though. They did after they left. Right. After Kevin Garnett and after Paul Pierce left, we needed 20 to 25 a game. But he didn't give that.
But you got to remember,
especially since had he stayed in Boston, we would have drafted Marcus Smart. And I think that Marcus Smart would have really benefited from having a guy like Rondo around.
But remember, too, that title run, that team with Rondo and Ray Allen, they had actually played past their prime. Danny Ainge wanted to blow that up a while ago. The problem was in 2012, they got back to the Eastern Conference Championship. So we had to keep them together. It was until 13 when he blew it up. And once he got off of Ray Allen, and once he got off of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, he wasn't going to continue to build around Rondo. No, he blew the whole thing up. He was going to start over. So I don't think it had really anything to do with Rondo. Even if Rondo would have averaged 20, all it does is heighten his trade value. That's all it does.
And Rondo was actually hurt.
Chill. You know, Rondo had the opportunity. You know, it's not like we had Rondo when Danny Ainge traded away Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. It's not like Rondo was in year 10, right? He still had a lot of really good years in him. So I don't know why we couldn't build a franchise around Rondo, get him some good pieces so that he could have went into a deep run in the playoffs.
Danny Ainge already did that. He did that with Garnett. He did that, building that unit around Garnett, around Paul Pierce.
But they were on the other side of their prime, though.
Right, and what happened? So he wanted to start over, completely start over. He didn't see Rondo like that. And Rondo, I'm sure, was your guy. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a question with Rondo. When were you all in on Rondo?
Man, in 2010, I had to have been 2010. In 2010, like Rondo to me, 2010 was like, that was the best Rondo for me.
That's when all your chips are pushed to the front of the table.
Yeah,
this is my
2010 Rondo for me was like, wow, this is our starting point. This is our franchise guy. If Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen leave, if those three leave, this is our franchise guy.
And you cool with that? You cool with building your unit around him? We still have our centerpiece. I guess Danny Ainge didn't see it like that. But that is fair. I can definitely get with that logic. That's fair.
I was
100%.
out on him as soon as I was out on him after I heard all those rumors or all those things about him not being coachable, him not being very, he didn't mesh well with the coaches that he had. I didn't really like that about him. He didn't really seem really focused on basketball, if that makes sense.
You was out at that point. That's fair.
Yeah. After that, I was out.
That's fair. All right, brother. Hey. Good to talk to you. What's up, Jose?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yep, you hot.
Well, I have a couple questions I wanted to ask you, but to stay on topic, I guess the guy that I was really like in on, I don't want to say necessarily that I was out on him. It's just he got injured and nothing was the same, but it was Derrick Rose.
Right.
So when I first started watching, I was like 12, 13, like basically around his MVP season, I was like 12, 13 years old. I was still in middle school. So watching him, and I'm in Florida, and I was like a Heat fan, but watching him, the stuff he was doing on the court, I was just like, man,
right.
It was like super amazing. Me and like watching Derrick Rose play.
Right. That's fair. That is fair. All right. That's fair.
Also, the questions I wanted to ask you, there's a couple. I heard you guys talking on the panel today. You were talking about Ben Simmons and how he looked the same. And then Damo brought up a point of he basically tried to compare him and Jared Allen. And I was waiting for someone to say, well, Jared Allen is a center and Ben Simmons is a point guard.
I said that they aren't the same. I said that they're not the same guy. I don't know why he said that. And I said that.
Exactly.
Like they were two different players. I said that.
Right, because I'm like,
he actually compared him to Draymond Green. That's what he said. He said that
he could be
like a Draymond Green type of player.
But even that's not a really great comparison because you have to understand what Draymond does is part of a system. Yeah, he's sure you can call him the point guard, but he just has point guard responsibilities within that system. But the whole show revolves around Stephen Curry. In terms of Ben Simmons, he was drafted as like the next supposed to be Magic Johnson, 6'10", could pass as a point guard, even though I never thought he was a point guard. To me, he was always a power forward trying to be a point guard. I don't know if you what.
I'm not out on Ben Simmons. I just have to. I'm just at a point where I've accepted him for who he is. At this point, that's where I'm at with Ben. I've accepted him for who he is, and if he is the guy from 2021, the All NBA third team, the All League defender, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Also, he just ain't Isaiah Thomas. He just ain't Magic, and I gotta accept that. That's just not him, and I'm cool with that.
Right. Also, he had I don't know if you ever heard, like he said he's not naturally left-handed. He's shooting with his left, but he's naturally right-handed. I don't know if that's true or not, but what is in terms of I know you played basketball, so I know I'll ask you, would you ever consider something like that? Switching to your less dominant hand?
No, I never thought that. I did know that my weak hand had to get stronger, but I'm naturally right-handed. So I shot with my right hand. I never considered shooting with my left hand. I knew I had to improve my left hand, and I knew I had to be able to dribble and pass and things like that and score with my left hand. I knew I had to be able to do that, but I never thought that my left hand would be my primary hand. No, I never thought that. Because that takes so much to switch up to do that. And no, I wasn't doing that. No, absolutely not. All right, brother.
I have just one more question and I'll let you go. In terms of a player, I don't know if you know about this player, but I don't know why he never panned out in the league. I don't know if you know Scala B. Sierra, power forward from Kentucky.
Scala B. Sierra. No, I don't remember him. I'm sorry.
All right. No. I don't know if you ever find out about him. I'll ask you about you next time. But thank you for having me on.
I'll go do some homework on him. All right, brother. Good to talk to you. What up?
Hey, man.
What up?
Hey, Chill. Yeah. So, essentially, guys that I thought would be great, but did not turn out to be what I thought of them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have two answers. One is Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley, I thought that man could be 25 point per game scorer easily while being decent to great distributor. Like man, his college career, chill. Like he
When were
was
you
such a
in
good,
on him? Let me ask you a question. When
huh?
were you in, when were you in on Michael Beasley? At what point did you decide, yo, I'm all in on him?
Before he come to NBA, chill.
So when
Like
he was still in college, when you saw him in college, you were in.
I thought he would turn out so great with Wade and him with his outside game and Wade inside game. Like I was thinking, like especially it can turn out to be big disappointed because Wade have like one of the greatest shooting guard season we have ever seen in 2009. Imagine if we have another co-star with him, and Beasley would have been such a perfect role with him. Beasley, like, and he did not turn out, man. Like, he lacked the mental fortitude, and his attitude problem was there. Like, I don't think he is as bad as people make him out to be, but I have really high expectation for him. Maybe it's on me, but and another one that kinda did not deliver. This is historic one I researched, and the more I research about it, the more it feel like this is one of the biggest casualty of our time. Like that 1986 Rocket team, that entire team is like one of the biggest wasted potential. Like Earl Lloyd, all of the guard who were suspended by the league, and Ralph Sensor career going downhill. Like they they could have been dynasty if things went right.
They would have
Like
they would have taken over the Western Conference. They had served the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. They beat them in 5 games, destroyed them. And by the way, the game that Ralph Sampson, when he hit that shot, the buzzer beater, in order to win the game, just so you know, Olajuwon got thrown out of that game for fighting.
Suspended.
And they still beat the Lakers. No, not suspended. He was thrown out of that game for fighting.
Yeah.
So with that being said, they still beat the Lakers. They were on their way to doing something serious. But
and
Louis Lloyd,
not only that,
they just had problems. They did.
The game 5 in 1986 final, when Ralph Sampson got into fight and was thrown out, and Olajuwon then repaid the favor. He have spectacular game of 30 point with 18 rebound, 30 point, some blocks, and take a game away from those 86 Celtics who were like all history great team. Like thing is that not only they would have been powerhouse in the West, they would have been like current generation in general kinda don't respect Michael Jordan.
I will tell you that they were better than the Lakers. Had they been able, because Jabbar was getting older, Jabbar was on the other side of who he used to be. Had they been able to hold it together, which they couldn't, but had they been able to hold it together, they were better than the Lakers. They were 100%.
They were better than Laker, and like a dynasty was thrown away. A legitimate challenge to Michael Jordan, a rival team that he could have measured up in 90s, routinely going up against them
100%
in even term. Like think about that. This is kind of actual. Like from 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98. All of those finals, Jordan was favorite. Majority of them, in all of them. Like if those guys would have been come out, there might have been some final where they would have been favorite over Bulls, and that was man. Like
it happens, brother. What are you
and another team, yeah. And another team I feel like is casualty of time is those Seattle team with Sean Kemp leaving them so early.
No, they never were. They were better than Utah. They were better than Utah in '96. But even if he stayed there, I don't think that. I think Utah finally gets over the hump. I don't put Seattle in the same category with the Houston Rockets because number one, they were young. The Houston Rockets were much younger. That's number two. I think that they were more athletic. Number three, they were together for a little bit longer. As good as Sean Kemp was, as good as Gary Payton was, that team, that Seattle team, the fact that they went as far as they were going to go. 1996, the NBA Finals, that was as far as they were going to go because the Western Conference was getting so much better. So, no, I'm good. I'm good on Seattle. So, definitely good on Seattle.
They have some brain fart laws, though, man, that they have no business losing to 1995 Lakers, chill.
You mean
or
98?
1990?
You mean 98? They lost to the Lakers in the first round.
Oh, my bad, my bad. I mean, the 94 Nuggets, 94 Nuggets. That was historic upset reading for article of its
That was a
time.
bad match. That was a bad matchup for them. It was a 5-game series, which is shorter. That was a bad matchup for them. So, all right, Killer. I'll talk to you later, brother. Good to talk to you. What up, Tim?
What's up, Uncle Chill?
What up, brother?
What's going on, man? I got 2 questions for you, man. I've been meaning to ask you this, man, for like a week. So Bird won 3 straight MVPs, right? And I know you're a football fan too, right? So which 3 straight MVP seasons were impressive? Larry Bird or Brett Favre's?
Bird. Because I don't think I'm not sure that Brett Favre should have won the league MVP in '96. I ain't saying that I'm not sure he should have won it in '96.
In '96?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Plus, I mean the league MVP it's been a quarterback. It's been a quarterback award, right? So, I mean, Adrian Peterson won it in 2012. I think Sean Alexander won it in 2005. The last defensive player to win it was Lawrence Taylor in '85.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's been quarterbacks. So I can't really say that him winning the league MVP 3 straight years was that impressive as opposed to Bird, because it's not like small forwards was winning it on a regular. It was a big man league when Bird won it.
Right.
So I'd have to say Bird.
Okay. And one player that I was super hyped on, but I'm just kind of like good on, man. I'm from Minnesota, man. I gotta go Cat, man.
When were you all in on Cat? At what point? Let me rephrase that. So when did you start to dig Cat? Let me start there. I'm digging this.
When we drafted
so you was loving that. When you got Cat, okay, I'm feeling that. You saw him at Kentucky, you digging him. At what point were all your chips pushed to the front of the table on Cat?
Probably, I want to say, what year was that? When we got Jimmy?
19.
Yeah,
18. I'm sorry, 18.
Yeah, the year we had got Jimmy, man. I want to say we were the 3rd seed before Jimmy got hurt, and we was rolling, man. We was rolling, and then he got hurt, and then we had to beat Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets and Jokic. It was the last game of the season
because y'all was tied. To get into the playoffs. I remember that.
Once we got to the playoffs, I knew the Rockets was a bad matchup, but I don't know, man. It's just like he folds in the playoffs. Like, I don't understand it, man. Like, every playoff series besides the Grizzlies series, he's folded.
I believe in in his playoff career, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in his playoff career, I think he averages 6 points and 3 rebounds in the second half of games.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know what's up with him, man.
We can't win with our best player not giving us anything in the second half. We can't.
Yeah,
we can't. Sorry, we can't, Tim. It just can't happen.
I got a question. So, like, why does everybody label the Lakers as championship contenders? And the only reason why I say that, though, Chill, is because honestly, to be real with you, if Anthony Edwards didn't have his worst shooting performance ever in the NBA, they would have lost. If Ant would have just had a normal game in that playing game against the Lakers, they would have beat the Lakers.
They still got to play, but the Lakers still have to play another game. It's not like the Lakers are out if they lose that game.
Cool. Now, so the Lakers wouldn't have been out, right? So they would have beat, I believe they would have had to play OKC. So they would have beat OKC. Who do they match up in the first round with?
Denver,
and they got served by Denver in the playoffs in the Western Conference Finals. So that's why, like, when people say like they're contenders, I mean, I'm the biggest LeBron James fan on the planet, but you know what I'm saying, I just, it's, I tend to like,
even though Bruce Brown, I will say Bruce Brown made it clear who Bruce, the question was posed to Bruce Brown, who was your toughest contest? He said Minnesota.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the playoffs. That includes the Miami Heat in the finals. He said Minnesota was out. And they smoked Minnesota in 5 games, by the way. But if you watch those playoffs, all 5 of those games were dog fights.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, Chill, man. Man, if McDaniels didn't break his damn hand, or if Nas Reed didn't break his hand, man, that would have been a more competitive series, man.
I think so.
That we would have pushed that series to 6 games. We wouldn't have beat them, but we would have pushed that series to 6 games for sure. Because man, Anthony Edwards was balling out of his mind.
Yeah, he was.
The idea of beating the Nuggets is like you're not gonna slow Jokic down. He's gonna get his. He's an elite player, all NBA, MVP caliber player. You're never gonna slow him down. Right. But the head of the snake over there to me is Jamal Murray. And so I feel like McDaniels, he's one of the best wing defenders in the NBA. Arguably, to me, he's the best. I don't think.
Did I lose him? I think I lost him. I had him. See if I can get him back. I had him. What up?
Hey, what's up? You hear me?
Yeah, what up?
I have a couple of questions, but before I ask the 2 questions I have, I heard about your topic about the in guy. Well, since I'm Argentinian, it's Manu Ginobili.
Wow. Now, were you a Manu Ginobili guy right from the beginning? Like, I mean, I know he's your countryman, so you remember him when you were younger, when he was growing up, and is this before he even got to the NBA, when he was playing in Argentina?
No, well, in my case, the first time I remember watching him was when he played the World Championship in 2002 against Yugoslavia, in which he lost in overtime.
Okay. So this is before he even showed up to the NBA. This is your guy.
Well, actually, I saw him before I started watching the NBA back in 2001, 2002. I like the Lakers because of the Shaq and Kobe duo. But then after all the breakup, I kind of became a Ginobili fan after we won the Olympic gold medal in Argentina back in 2000.
That's when all your chips are pushed to the front of the table. That's when you all in it. At that point, you're all in on Ginobili.
Well, kind of, yeah. And the thing I like the most that, you know, a lot of players demand a trade for whatever reason. They let their ego get the best of him. Yeah. And Manu never did that. He said, well, okay, how become a 6-man, whatever the coach asked me to, and you know what, he excelled, and the rest is history.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That is fair. What question you got?
Okay, a couple of questions. What do you think of that? It doesn't have nothing to do with the NBA, but what do you think of this FIBA World Cup? Do you expect the result? What do you think of it?
I dig the FIBA World Cup. I don't think that America has taken it as serious as they should have. I mean, in the last 30 years, America has only won it 3 times. I mean, that's once every 10 years. That's not a big deal. I would like for them to take it more seriously because, I mean, it means a lot to these other countries. So I think it should mean, don't get me wrong, I understand there's money, there's other obligations, but I mean, these other countries seem to take this serious. This seems to be a big deal for other countries. And I understand that the Olympics is the creme de la creme, but I mean, the FIBA World Championships, Germany is very confident going into the Olympics. Very confident. I don't think that they're going to win the gold medal, but Germany is very confident about getting a medal going into the Olympics. And I think this is something to build on when you have teams in the FIBA World Championships. If you are like Canada is very confident going into the Olympics, very much so. So I would like to see America take it more seriously. I understand why they don't, but I would like to see them take it more seriously.
Well, in my case, it was a little bit hard for me to watch the World Cup because Argentina did not classify, especially in my case, since I'm Argentinian. Even though I left the country when I was a kid, well, I consider myself Argentinian and I support it. And it's going to be harder for me to watch basketball, the Olympics, because Argentina did not classify for it either.
Yeah. Well, that's still your country, though. They're still your guys. What are you going to do? I was born in New Jersey. I don't live there no more, but I'm always going to be from New Jersey. So I understand. I understand where you're at with it. No
the second question is, do you think that from now we're going to see like the U.S. like lose a couple of games every once in a while, even if they win a medal in the Olympic Games, like it happened in 2020 and in the World Cup? How do you see it?
I think that the gap has gotten smaller. I don't think that the American team is in danger of losing the gold medal, but I do think that the rest of the world has gotten better more than anything. I think that these teams have gotten better to the point where it's at least competitive. It's not like it was in '92 where they're beating everybody by 40 and 50.
Yeah.
No, That's not the case anymore. I think that the gap is closing where these teams in the other countries have gotten better. And I mean, that's largely due to the 92 team.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I heard that LeBron, Durant want to play, but the issue is if they're going to be available, because now coming into this next season, in this next 2023-24 season, we don't know if they're actually going to be available, because you never know what happens. Injuries, they probably can say that probably they're too tired. You never know what can happen.
Right. Absolutely. So, all right, my man, it's good to talk to you. Absolutely. Good to talk to you. I will see you soon, brother. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, man.
Yep. What up, Breezy?
Chilling, man. Yo, first and foremost, Chill, I want to say I seen the show earlier, and I want to say I appreciate you, Damo, Ron, the whole panel, man. Y'all was really talking nice about the Brooklyn Nets, and I appreciate it. Even if we may have differences in opinions, I still appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like I'm at a point with the Nets where Brooklyn, Ben Simmons in particular, I feel like I just got to accept him for who he is.
Right.
That's all it is, more than anything. Like I got to stop acting like he's Magic. I got to stop acting like he's Stockton. Like, yo, accept this dude for who he is. And if he's an all-league defending guard and he's an all-NBA performer, that's still awesome, yo. Okay, he just ain't Magic. That's it. He ain't Magic good. He ain't Stockton good. He ain't Isaiah good. Okay, but he's still awesome.
Nah, you're absolutely right. But you know the game more than anybody, Chill. And what I will say, the biggest difference between the old school and the new school, I think, is the games played and the minutes played. Right. You know, they be having similar stats as far as accolades and stuff like that. But when you look at the minutes and the stats, I mean the minutes and the games played, the seem like the OGs definitely got the new school by a big margin. But to answer your question to the title show, which is a dope show, Cam Thomas. As soon as Cam Thomas came in the league, everything that Ron said earlier is basically what I know. And I found out he went to Oak Hill, and like he said, Melo went there, KD went there. You know, some really great scorers went to that school, and he was the leading scorer. And I was saying that wasn't a pun towards Shaquille O'Neal, but you know, in LSU, he did break Shaq records for scoring 20 points. I think 24 times in that season, and Shaq held the record before Cam Thomas with 20 points. He scored 20 points, 20 games. I don't know if I'm accurate. Am I accurate?
He first of all, he led the SEC in scoring. That's number one. He was in the top 5 in the country in scoring. He's the only freshman to do that since Chris Jackson, aka Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. That was 30 years ago. Nobody else did that before him. To be in the top, to be the lead scorer in the SEC and in the top 5 in the country in scoring as a freshman. The last dude to do that was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. So we knew he was buckets. It wasn't a question of whether or not he was buckets. So it sounded to me like when he got on the crew, you was digging him. Here's my question though to you, Breezy. When were you all in though? Because there's a difference between digging somebody. You know what I equated to? I equated to your chick. There's a point where I'm digging my chick, but then she did something or something happened where all your chicks got pushed to the front of the table. She's what's up.
To answer your question specifically is when I seen him play alongside KD, and to confirm it was when KD went out and he played alongside Kyrie. It's like he could play next to anybody. He played next to Ed Sumner. He played next to Kyrie. He played next to KD. Anytime he on the floor with anybody, in my opinion, he makes the team better. Now they saying the same thing about DSJ. You know, like, oh, you should see Cam Thomas with Dennis Smith Jr. I just tend to think that because of, you know, what he does, he makes the team better. But I think that's when I was all in. When I seen him hooping next to KD and Kyrie, I'm like, yo, like, nah, this, and the reason why is partly because being a fan, I wanted to be all in on a player. You know what I'm saying? I want to see a career, because I knew his favorite player was Kobe. So I was like, I want to see him have a career like Kobe. You know, start with one team and retire with the same team. So it was pretty early, Chill. But I asked you the same question, Chill. Who was you all in on?
Dominique Wilkins. And when I was 13, I was already a kid when, like, my uncle was constantly in my ear about Walt Frazier this, Jabbar that. When I saw Doc at 7 years old, when I started really loving basketball, when I saw Dominique Wilkins in the dunk contest in '85, I had seen Dominique Wilkins in college.
Yeah.
And I had already known that when he came into the league that he was good. When I saw him in the dunk contest on All-Star Weekend in '85, I was all in. That was my guy. Jordan in '87, even in '86 when they played against Boston in the playoffs, I wasn't all the way in yet, but I was like, yo, this dude is nice. In '87, when I saw him doing what he was doing, him, Barkley, I was all in. I was all in on him. Doc was on his way out. Jordan was doing what he was doing. I was already in on Magic at that point. I was already in on Bird at that point. I wasn't in on Jordan yet. At that point in '87, I was in.
So do you feel like Dominique did the right thing with his career, or would you, as being all in as a fan, do you feel like he should have did something different with Dominique?
I think that he was in a spot where that's what you did during that time, right? He was in a spot where you stayed with the crew that you was with. I don't think that they did him justice by having the crew that they had. I mean, Doc Rivers said it best. The difference between Dominique Wilkins and James Worthy is James Worthy had Magic Johnson, Dominique Wilkins had me. That's the difference. So
that's a real quote.
Yeah, that's the difference. So with that being said, Dominique Wilkins, knowing what he knows today and seeing what's going on today, I don't think he would have stayed in Atlanta. I think he would have bounced. I don't think he would have stayed there. But that's what you did back then. You saw guys in college, and a guy was in college. You looked forward to him coming to the NBA, whoever he got with, and you knew he was going to be on that crew for a long time. Like when Barkley got to Philly, I knew Barkley was going to be on Philly for a long time. When Bird got to the Celtics, when Jordan got with the Bulls, you knew dudes was going to be on crews for a long time because that's what they did. Guys didn't jump around like that.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up, man. Yo, I never knew that about you, but that's good to know, Chill. Dominique was your guy.
I love Dominique. I was a Jordan guy. Everybody knows that I was a Jordan guy. I love Jordan. But Dominique Wilkins, oh my goodness. I love me.
I'm about to go check some footage. And I just want to say this before I leave. Listen, chat, if y'all never seen Chill play basketball, check out his highlights. I watched it. He got like 2 videos of him actually hooping. I seen him go cross from the left to the right. He got a smooth midi. Shout to Chilltown Hoops. Yeah, I seen you hooping in your videos, man.
I could play a little bit. A lot of gray hairs ago, I could play a little bit. All right, Breezy, good to talk to you, brother. You know where to find me at.
All right, later, Chill.
What up?
Good evening, Chill. How are you?
What up?
I'm wearing 49 in red because of paying respects to what you told me about my Cowboys.
I don't really have anything to say.
Me neither. I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say either.
I don't. I don't have anything to say to you. I let the ass whooping speak for itself.
It said it all. It said it all on the field. You left it all on the field, and it said everything.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to my clear soon. I just came to clear the air a little bit. I think you're kind of mad at me.
About what?
I don't know. What's it called? On the last Fluent and Chill, I asked to do a watch party, and then you brought up the whole Dame video I made.
Yeah, exactly. You. Yes, you did make it about me.
But that was before your reaction to.
No, it wasn't. You made it. Actually, I saw it the same day, the exact same day. Yeah, I saw it
because it was up already.
Right. You dropped it that day.
Yeah, the night
when Dame got traded. When Dame got traded, you dropped it that day.
That night, yeah.
Right, you dropped it that day. Yeah, even though you completely left out everything that I said in the video about the Milwaukee Bucks and not at any point mentioning Damian Lillard. Not at any point that I mentioned him. Meanwhile, you made it sound like I'm all in on Damian Lillard. I think this is great for Milwaukee. When I never mentioned Milwaukee at no point.
You didn't say that, but you did say you're proud about Giannis going after Dame, weren't you?
No, I did not say that. What I said was I'm proud of Giannis holding his organization accountable. I said nothing about Damian Lillard. Zero. Nothing. That's the point. If you're going to hold me accountable for what I say, if you're going to post videos about me, hold me accountable for what I say, not what you think I said, or not what you heard or what you conjured up in your mind. Hold me accountable for what I actually said. At no point when I said in that video that I mentioned Damian Lillard and Giannis being great for each other. I said Giannis holding his organization accountable, and kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks for showing Giannis that we are serious about winning. Period. You didn't hear me say nothing about Damian Lillard.
No, you didn't. You didn't. But it was like a whole separate thing. It didn't have to do with each other. I've only made that video because we happened to talk about the possibilities of Damian going to Milwaukee. And when you said that it shouldn't have happened, I found it ironic that it actually did happen.
Actually, that's not what you said. You said, quote, Jay, you were completely out. Why are you so supportive of this when you were completely out on Damian Lillard? I never said that I was.
That's true. You said
when I never said that I was. So once again, sir, if you're gonna talk about me, hold me accountable for what I say, not what you think I said. Hold me accountable for what I say. Right. Period.
You don't like Damian in Milwaukee?
I gotta see it first.
Okay.
I gotta see it. I don't hate it. I'm not saying that I hate it. Mm-hmm. I just gotta see it because you got two ball dominant guys who have to adjust their games. And this is not something that we're doing over the course of a window of 3 or 4 years. That window isn't open long. No. It's not. So I ain't saying that I love it. I don't hate it. I
can go with that. It's just I think you question Dame's playoff the history of him in the playoffs and what
after the first round, it gets a little tricky with Dame.
That's true, yeah. I mean, he did play the Warriors. You brought up Curry eating his lunch. I mean, that's Stephen Curry. Chill.
So we talking about the best guard in the league, saying he's the best guard in the league. This dude said, "I'm the best guard in the league." Yeah, are you? When this dude ate your lunch,
that's true.
That happened.
I agree with that 100%.
So I'm just saying, brother. That's all.
And the player that I was in on once I'm a Warriors fan, but I'm from South Florida, so. When Bam Adebayo played his first rookie year with Miami, oh my God. I mean, he's inconsistent. This past season, he showed what he's about. I think he's going to get it going. He's going to be an all-pro for the next couple years. I really like what Miami has going with Bam. Do you think at some point or another, Bam might become the first option over Jimmy?
He should always be that. He should be that. I want to be clear. I think Bam, if he was more aggressive offensively, he could easily be a 20+ 10 rebound guy. Easily. But I watch him turn down mid-range shots. I watch him turn down things in transition. I watch him turn down things for the sake of the offense, which, don't get me wrong, I think that running the offense is beneficial. However, I think that he could be a little bit more aggressive than what he is.
Absolutely.
But if you got a 20-10 all-league defender on your crew, I mean, damn, what else you want?
Exactly. You have everything right there.
Damn, give me a break, yo. You got a flying ass chick. She cooks, she cleans. She just don't cook lobster that good. But yo, man, I don't know. This chick might not be for me. Give me a break, yo. Okay, you don't want her? He'll gladly take her. Yes, he will, and be very happy with her. So, all right, brother, I'm going.
All right, see you. See you,
Joe. Hello.
What up?
Yeah, what up? Can you hear me?
Yep, you hot. What up?
Yeah, I have a question. I remember watching one of your podcasts on the panel, and I remember you saying that you would. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you would choose the 2018 Cavs to beat the 2018 Houston Rockets.
Yes.
Is that true? Would you mind explaining for me why you think it is that way?
One reason and one reason only. James Harden. That's it.
You don't think he can consistently perform enough to beat the Cavs?
Nope.
So it has nothing to do with LeBron James playing at that level in 2018. Just James Harden in specific. You just don't.
James Harden.
That's really funny.
I was rooting for. I knew they couldn't beat the Warriors.
That's why
I knew it. I knew for a fact. I'm like, they cannot beat the Warriors.
Even if Chris Paul didn't go down?
Even if Chris Paul didn't go, I was rooting for Houston because I'm like, they can beat them. I'm sure they can beat them because I know who James Harden is. I know him. I know James Harden.
You're completely right because what has he shown us?
I know who James Harden is. I'm looking at the Warriors going, I hate that matchup. I don't like it, but I'm looking at James Harden going, they can beat them because I know him. I saw the 0-4-11 in that Western Conference Finals series. I saw the team go 0-27 in the Western. I saw that. So I'm thinking to myself, they can beat them. I think they could beat them. The Warriors, no, they can't beat them dudes. No. Especially with that first game with James going for 51. If he does that against Houston, he breaks them.
And the crazy thing is, if J.R. Smith did not have that one bad moment, they probably would have beaten them. If he had
I'm not
maybe
going to say that they would have beaten them. I
not
think the
beating them,
series
but
is.
like beating them in
I
that
think the
game, you know,
series. I think the series is different if they
for
win
sure
that
they take
game
home
one.
court advantage from them, and the
I think we
momentum
got a
carries
completely
on.
different series.
Especially with James being that type of player in 2018, where the way he
Yeah.
was closing games, hitting those mid-range jump shots with ease.
Yes.
Like we've never seen that before. I mean, we have with him, but not as a consistent level as he did it in that 2018 playoff run. I think that series definitely does look different.
It
Definitely,
looks
for
way
sure.
different, 100%. So
And just another question, if you have the time. Uh, I heard in 2017 that there were rumors going around that the Cavs were shopping around for Paul George the moment that the Warriors got Kevin Durant. Was that true? And
I did hear
yeah,
that the deal was Kevin Love for Paul
Paul
George
George.
and Griffin is his name, the
Yeah,
general manager. He passed on Paul George, which I'm cool with that because the rebounder that Kevin Love was,
for sure.
the long ball shooter. I mean, I thought he brought a different dynamic to that team. It can't just be Paul George who's a bucket getter. You're getting another bucket getter, and I mean, I didn't mind that they passed on that. I did.
You would think that he would have
And Paul
offered.
George
Yeah.
at that point, man,
Was it?
and Paul George at that point, he was still getting back to who he was. He wasn't
Yeah,
there
for
yet.
sure. All those injuries. So you would think that we would have played a bigger role on that Cavs team in 2017 than Kevin Love, maybe on the defensive side, and maybe would have helped more in that Golden State series in 2018. I mean 2017. Sorry, because I think regardless of did they have Kevin Love or not, the level of I he gets underrated a lot, LeBron James, in the 2017 season because of what he did the next year, but he was still playing at the same level, I believe, in 2017. Did it 2018? He was just closing games better because he didn't have the secondary option that he had in Kyrie Irving, where he can go to him all the time.
Right.
So I feel like if they get to the finals regardless, whether they have Kevin Love or not in 2017, and I think if they had Paul George, then they would definitely have a greater shot at beating the Warriors that season because they have an extra like option they can put on. They can put like Kyrie on Steph
Mm.
and Paul George on, let's say, Klay Thompson, and then they can put James on Kevin Durant. I
Well,
think that would aid them more than what if they had Kevin Love, like what they had Kevin Love.
I'm just thinking about where Paul George was at that point. I mean, he wasn't
He was
particularly
definitely,
great.
yeah,
He wasn't particularly great in the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, if the numbers, you can go back and check the numbers. I might be
yeah,
wrong, but I think that in closeout games, I think he was like 9 for like 31 in closeout games. He wasn't very good at all. And he still, in terms of health in 2017, was trying to get back to who he was. He didn't get back to that level until 19 when he was with Russ.
yeah,
So to put him on that team with James playing at the level James was playing at, with that crew being in the NBA Finals for the second straight year, I mean 15, 16, 17, for the third straight year, to really need Paul George. I
yeah.
don't think that he gives them that dynamic yet. Now, if you asking me
And
if they had 2018 or
if
2019
like 1
Paul
year
George,
after, yeah.
now we talking about something different. But 2017 Paul George, he wasn't there yet. I don't think so. So
You don't think that him running around with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving would have had any effect on him maybe playing better and relieving all that stress that he had on like when he was with the Pacers? Because as you said, he really started to get back in form in 2018, 2019. Now, of course, we gotta mention that he was still like coming back to his form with the injuries. You don't think that maybe playing with two of like the best players at that time would have aided him and given him more time and more structure to that team where he could have maybe played better than what he was playing on the Pacers?
that's possible. I do think that it would have helped him because they had Irv, because they
Yeah,
had James. I think that would have helped him segue back into the player that he
yeah,
was. But we also talking about a Paul George who, at that point, was getting back into form. When he had stayed there, he never would have been the player that he is today if he stayed with James and Kyrie Irving. I don't think.
for
But
sure.
I do think that he would have. I do think that he could have played better. I just feel like Kevin Love gave them something different.
I agree. But
That's all.
it's just nice to look at different perspective, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. No doubt. All right,
Thank you
Kane.
for your time.
Good to
Thank you
talk
so
to
much.
you, brother. What up? What up?
Yo, what's up with the chill?
What up?
Man, you hear me?
Yeah, you hot?
All right, man. Hey, man, I just wanted to say, man, I respect you, man. I appreciate you for letting me up, man. I'm a big fan of yours, man. I appreciate everything you do, man, and what you bring to the basketball community.
Thanks, brother. No doubt.
All right, man. I got a few questions, man. I know, I got three actually, man. I know you're in on LeBron, man, but I want to ask you, when did you know for sure you were in on LeBron?
I already dug him coming out of high school. I felt like he was a generational talent because I hadn't seen anybody like that, coming into the league. I felt like he was already a generational talent. But in 2007, when I saw them play against Detroit, I felt like what Jay did against the Celtics in '86, when he did against the Celtics, that's why I was like, you got your franchise player. That's him right there. This is your guy. Yeah. This is who you need to be building your unit around. No questions asked. At that point, and again, I'd already felt like he was a great player. But in 2007, all my chips was pushed in. I was in on him at that point.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, man. I can say, man, around that time, man, I was about third, fourth grade.
Yeah.
And I remember he played the Pistons. It was like his first 40-point game.
Yeah.
I can't be exact on the year, but I know it was like a Tuesday night or middle of the week. He just went crazy. I was over my uncle's house. Yep. But hey, that's my guy too, man. He's legit.
I was all in. At that point, I was in.
He's always been legit, but yeah, it was a little shaky moment. Things got cloudy with Brian, though. I won't lie about that. But man, another thing, man, I know you're big on Jason Tatum, but I don't want to know another young potential star that you probably know that you're in on right now.
Anthony Edwards.
I was trying to get it.
In the next 2 years, and I've gotten some pushback from the guys that I'm on the panel with. I think in the next 2 years, he's the best two guard in the game. No questions asked. I think he jumps Devin Booker. I think he jumps Donovan Mitchell simply because where he is on the defensive side of the basketball. I see the offense. Once he puts that mid-range in his game, same way I feel about Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum gets that consistent 15 to 18 footer in his mid-range in his game. He's a top 3 player for the next 8 years. No questions asked. I feel the same way about Anthony Edwards in terms of him putting that mid-range in his game. If he puts that mid-range in his game, I think he's no question the best two guard in the game, and I think he's in the conversation of being a top 5 player. And they building that unit in Minnesota around him. He makes guys like Cat expendable now at that point.
Yeah, man. Just to expand on that, man, to speak on the mid-range when it comes to Ant, when it comes to him, I don't think it's ability. I think it's comfortability. I don't think he's that comfortable shooting the mid-range. From time to time, like he got the shooting stroke, you can tell. But Chill, you play basketball like that.
Why is that? Why is that, Loki? What's the problem?
I know exactly what it is. I played the game. I grew up playing the game before. I never played on a pro level, but I grew up playing the game. And man, you know how it is, Chill, man. The game is not the way you grew up playing, but now this age, the game is threes and layup. And a lot of guys, when they go to practicing on their mid-range game, they feel like they're on an island. They feel like it's tough. Like that's first of all, that's the last shot your coach wants you to take. You know, so you don't really put in a lot of reps and you don't really get comfortable going to the court. Right. Like growing up, I know your days because I got parts like this where I'm at. When you go out there and hoop with no 3-point line, you'll shoot from anywhere. Right. But once you got that 3-point line on there, I feel when you got the 3-point line out there, I think it's a barrier, like a glass ceiling create on somebody's mind that they can only be so good at the mid range.
Right. That's fair. Absolutely. That's fair. I knew during the time when I was growing up and I was playing, I knew that I had to be able to shoot the three, but I lived in the mid range. And the reason why I lived in the mid range was because of the guys that I grew up watching, Jordan, Joe Dumars. That's where I was the most comfortable, 15 to 18 feet. That's where I lived at. But I knew that I had to shoot. I had to be able to shoot the long ball. Now, the long ball wasn't my game, but I could shoot it at a respectable rate where you had to at least guard me at the long ball line. I wasn't, don't get me wrong, I wasn't Steph Curry. I wasn't that good at the long. No, I wasn't that good. But I could at least knock down the long ball to the point where, okay, he's respectable and you have to at least guard him. When you're talking about a guy like Anthony Edwards, who that's really interesting, where it's an island where I'm thinking to myself, 15 to 18 feet, yo, you should live there.
Man, Chill. I grew up, I'm telling you, I'm 5'11". I grew up as a point guard, 2-guard shooter. Once I got to college and started playing with D1 guys and actually just going to the gym and hooping with them, you realize there's certain things that you got to change in your game. And that's one thing I had to realize, man. You got to, sometimes you got to shoot the floater. You got to get comfortable between 12 and 17 feet. You got to. There's no way around it. And one thing I can say for you, and I can say this for you because I know you, man. Like I said, I did my little research on you, man. You're a bigger guy, and you know what I'm saying. And I'm not. And the same goes for Ant. He's not a small guy.
Right.
So, like I said, I don't think it's ability. I just think it's comfortability. Everybody know everything's easier for a bigger guy on the court, especially when you're a bigger guard. It's nothing to get to the midi, one bump, my shoulder, your chest. Now I got automatic space.
Right.
It's nothing hard about that. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
man, it's real interesting, man. And like you said, man, I hope he can turn that corner, man, because I see it for him, man, and I just want to see him come through and do great things.
Fair, yeah, that's fair. I do too.
And to answer my own question, I would put him in the same archetype as Ant, man, but a potential star player. I don't see him being a superstar player, but I do see him being around 21, 23, 22 points a game one day in his career. That's Ben Mathurin.
The athlete that Ben Mathurin is playing
He's
with.
not the same athlete. It's Ant.
No, not Anthony Edwards. No, I would never say that. I don't think he's the same athlete. However, I think that playing with Halliburton, I think that can expand his game and make him actually better than what we think he would be without him. Like the benefit of playing with a great point guard, it's like being a running back and playing behind a great offensive line. Like how much better are you when you're running behind, I don't know, all pro or all conference offensive lineman? Well, Mathurin, who as good as he is, how much better is he going to be playing with a double-digit assist distributor like Mathurin, as opposed to running with, I don't know, Fred VanVleet? How much better would he be?
Hey, man, it's the difference between those 6 and 8 points, man. Jason Kidd told you he'll give you play with him.
Like, imagine running with a dude that'll say, yo, I can get you 6 points just off the strip.
Hey.
Like, we ain't even talking about the offense. I'll get you 6 points if you just do this.
Hey,
That's
I've been there before.
Damn, I can do that. Okay.
Hey, Chia, you've been there before, man. You back cut just because that's a play motion, then you look up the balls right there.
Hey,
like you don't intentionally cut or nothing.
That's what you're telling me. So low key, you telling me, hey, chill. All I need you to do is run the lane here, and I'm gonna get you an extra 6 points. In addition to what you're going to do, in addition to what you're already doing, I'm gonna get you another 6 points. That ain't that hard, man. That dude make the game a lot easier, be for real. So, but
man, he lost me.
No, you still there? You still there? I got you. You still there?
I'm gonna blow it, man.
Hey, I gotta bounce. It's good to talk to you, brother. No doubt. So it was good to see you guys tonight. I gotta bounce. I'm way over time. I will see you guys soon. I'm on Chill with Chill on Saturdays. I'm on Fluent and Chill tomorrow night. My man Tony Tone ain't gonna be there, but me and H Boogie, we got some stuff cooked up for you. And it should be good. So come check me out tomorrow night. I will be there. And I will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it. Hold on, I got a quick question. Hold on. Yes, Lisa. What's your question, Lisa? What's your question? I got a quick question. Yes, Lisa. All right, Tom. All right, Twan. Good to talk to you, brother. No doubt. I do not know who Lisa is, but Lisa has a quick question. So, what's your question, Lisa? Who? Who? My cousin Alex, he's in the hospital. Okay, pray for Alex. Pray for Alex. He's in the hospital. Hopefully he can recover from whatever it is that's ailing him. Pray for Alex. Pray for Alex. Say a prayer for Alex. That's Lisa's cousin. He's in the hospital. Whatever he's suffering from, hopefully he can get through it. Pray for him. Get him through it. I'm sorry to hear that, Lisa. So I'll be praying for him. All right, guys. Take it light. Take it.